On Thursday, 25th October 2024, journalists Musa Sirif and Mamadou Justice Dabo of the Voice newspaper appeared before the Kanifing Magistrates Court on a single count of false publication and broadcasting, contrary to Section 181A of the Criminal Code. The two were arraigned before the Kanifing Magistrates Court on October 8, 2024, during which they both denied any wrongdoing. The defense counsel, lawyer Lamin J. Dabo, applied for them to be granted bail under Section 99 of the Criminal Procedure Code since the prosecution does not object to it. He assured the court that the accused would not interfere with the prosecution witnesses and that there would be no flight risk. The accused were subsequently granted bail in the sum of $100,000 with a Gambian surety each, who will deposit their identity cards to the registrar of the court. The Gambian media has been faced with numerous threats and lawsuits from individuals and, most recently, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, who felt offended by the newspaper publication of the Voice newspaper. As a result of these threats, media professionals came out to show solidarity to their colleagues. Speaking to journalists shortly after the proceedings, the president of the Gambia Press Union, Mohamed Esba, described it as an attack on press freedom and freedom of expression and called on the president to drop the charge against the two journalists.
Filing legal charges against our comrades. How do you feel about this? And what is the position of the Gambia Press Union as far as these matters are concerned?
Yes, it's definitely an attack on press freedom and freedom of expression. It's also showing the intolerant nature of the democracy or democratic values that the Gambian leader is championing. And it is also creating a serious backsliding effect on our democratic gains. We've gained a lot in terms of press freedom looking backwards before 2016 and 2017, 2018 towards 2019 up to 2023. But now we are seeing those gains being taken to the drains rather. So what I will say is our position is for the president, in the interest of democracy, good governance, rule of law, to just drop these charges. And it is unfortunate that the police is also pursuing this case, bringing criminal charges against our comrades. This is not a criminal issue. The police have no business in this case. It's the president who felt offended, which I'm not sure whether he should have been offended, because looking at the commitment that he said before, you can recall, I could recall vividly on the 18th of February 2017, when we were celebrating our independence at the Independence Stadium. The president said the media is free forever, and that was his word. You can go and check it online, and there will be a freedom of expression in this country. So why now? Why is he, backsliding why is he looking backward? Why is he taking these steps as a president who should champion press freedom and freedom of expression? And also, this is an attack on the Constitution, Section 207, which states that the media should hold government accountable to the people. And for me, I believe the media is doing its job in holding the government, just like President Barrow has a mandate. The media has a mandate to protect journalists, to hold government accountable to the people. So I think he should be tolerant in the interest of democracy. He should also understand that democracy is very complex and dynamic. In terms of these issues, we can handle it. And there's also a media council. Why not we channel this? If government is not using the media council, which government is even part of, others are using the media council. Why is President Barrow not using the media council of the Gambia to resolve issues? Why is he using the courts? So I believe he should rethink, as I said, in the interest of democracy. It is not telling well. Look at everybody now at the African Union, not African Union, at the African Commission, Gambia's name has been mentioned there, that we are having a serious, attack on press freedom, and which was not the case a few years ago. So I think we should now focus on very important things, more pertinent issues than just suing journalists and having an impact on freedom of expression and press freedom. So for the interest of democracy, President Barrow, please drop these charges and then ensure that there is freedom of expression. And also, let us consolidate our gains as a country. Let us not go back to the days, the dark days. We are hoping that the president probably, it may be, he was just moved by his emotions. Now that the case is before the courts, he should think about the repercussions on press freedom and freedom of expression and the name of Gambia in the global map.
Mr. President, there is a suggestion from some of the members of the Gambia Press Union that the union should stage a protest against the lawsuits, the lawsuits filed by the Minister of Environment, President Barrow, and then the police. What is the GPU's stand on this suggestion?
Yes, we just want to exhaust all the possible means. You can resolve issues in all possible means. We are engaging government, and then we will continue engaging them to see how this thing will end. We're hoping that it will not get to that point where we will protest. But what I will say for me is I will reiterate my call for the president to look into the interests of democracy. Yes, we are not saying no to the protest, but we want to explore, more means to address this issue, to ensure that these things are addressed once and for all, so that everybody will do whatever they're supposed to do as mandated by the Constitution.
Mr. President, the President Barrow keeps bragging that he's a Democrat. And over the years, under his leadership, we've seen journalists being radical in his presence. Because I attended several programs at the State House where journalists have been radical and physically harmed, and there is no official statement from the government. So what makes you believe that the President will indeed listen to your plea and drop these charges? And finally, from my end, what advice do you have for journalists, both professionals and those aspiring journalists?
Yeah, this is a test to President Barrow himself, and it is a test to our democracy. Democracy has its ups and downs. Sometimes government can, do blunders and they rectify, they correct it. Even in other countries, whenever the government commits something that is not perceived to be democratic, they are human beings. They can make mistakes, but let them allow the democracy to flow. What they can do is to ensure that yes, whatever they are doing which is not correct, this filing, especially the presidency, the executive, I think this should have been the last thing that the president himself should think about, like thinking about taking a journalist to court because of just a mere story about the president's successor. And the Keba Ansu also, his case, he is doing his job as a journalist, as stipulated in Section 207. So I believe this is a test to the government to see whether what they perceive, what they are saying, whether it's true or not. This is a test to our democracy. Let's see whether they will pass the test or they will fail it.
Mr. President, I have one question. You said this is a test for the government, and this is not the first time that we are witnessing threats and lawsuits against media institutions and journalists. It was from digital media and economy with the Party Network, and also now with Minister of Environment and the President as head of state. Looking at all these lawsuits and these threats that are posed to journalists, how is this going to affect the work of journalists in this country? Because look at the proliferation of media institutions since the change of government, and most of these journalists are young people. What effect or consequences will this have on the media and also journalists that are coming up?
This is going to be very serious, as I said. You know, people are just looking at the the space, only the space, but it will have an economic impact on the media, seriously. Um, for example, we've seen during Jammeh's time, whenever he pronounced or whenever he make a comment against journalists or media houses, the government, the parastatals, I'm not sure this should be the case. They will not advertise with the media, that media house. And then I'm also calling on the parastatals not to use that. It's not their business. The business is to ensure that this is not the fight of the state. It's not the, I think we should separate that. This is not a state security issue. This is just an individual as the president who felt offended. And people should not use that against the media. You understand? This has been happening, and it's a serious threat. I agree with you. Um, yes, for me, going forward, the media should also be more responsible. We need more responsible journalism. People should go by the code of ethics, the Channel Yellow Code of Ethics. People should respect that, and we are hoping that as time goes by, because we are making sure that we advocate for a vibrant media council, so that the media council will be more proactive in doing their job. I know they have a capacity gap in terms of human resources. Yes, we've seen Kenya. For example, we traveled to Kenya, and Kenya is one of the countries that we can benchmark on. They have a very vibrant media. The former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, was offended. He drove up to the media council and laid a complaint against a journalist, you know. So we believe, yes, you can say, yeah, the president can go to court, but you cannot use a passive democratic process to gag press freedom. You cannot use that. You cannot use legal means. And also, the reform, that is the saddest part of it. These are the laws that government said, yes, we are going to reform. For example, the TRRC recommendation recommended that the false publication and broadcasting should be removed from our books. And the government, in their white paper, or on their white paper, says, yes, we are going to remove it. But still now we are seeing government using those laws against. So what was the intention of government setting the TRRC? And it will also have a serious impact on our transitional justice, because the media, we are one of the victims. We are highly victimized, and we are seeing the same trend. So then, what is the essence of the never again mantra if we are having those kind of things? So for me, I believe the government should rethink, and then just come, and then for the interest of democracy, let them just drop these charges, amend the laws, and then we have our democracy. Everyone has a mandate to. The media has a mandate to do. So the president has a mandate. So this is a test, as I said. This is a serious, like, we either make it or mar it. This is the test to our democracy. If we believe that we want to continue with our democratic gains, we have to also allow the press to thrive. We have to make sure that, yes, we encourage responsible journalism, but government should be in the forefront in ensuring that, just like the OJ case, OJ also filed a case when he was a minister in 2017. And this is not good for the President Barrow's government. When they had that case, the late OJ, when he was Minister of Agriculture, and then the case, I think they because of the interest of democracy, they allow it to flow. So why not the president also take a bold step and allow this thing to flow, and then just drop the charges, and police to drop the charges, and then we continue with what we are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Prosecutors allege that the accused persons on or about the 23rd September 2024 at Kanifing and diverse places of the Republic of the Gambia, they, without any lawful excuse or authority, willfully published a news article. President Barrow chooses Mohamed Jah as successor as presidential candidate for the 2026 election, with the Voice newspaper, knowingly or have no reason to believe that the said publication or news was true and they knew it to be false at the time. The case was adjourned to 22nd November 2024. Reporting for GTTV News, I am Lamel MCC.